We've got another brilliant episode lined up for you today, especially if you've ever wondered how building and maintaining strong relationships within your team and across your business can make all the difference. I am Vicky. I am the Ops Manager at Fresh Perspective Resourcing Limited. We are a recruitment company with a twist based in Chorley in Lancashire. And my guest today is Dave Liggins. Hello, Dave.
Hello, good morning.
Are you okay?
I'm good, and
Yeah.
I hope I can emulate your energy, to be fair.
I'm trying.
That's really good, really good.
I'm trying. We'll be okay. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, where you're from, that type of thing?
Yeah, sure. So, Dave Liggins, Head of Procurement at Serconnect. I've been in the procurement sector, for over 25 years, which...
You don't look old enough to be in the sector for over 25 years.
I'm already a fan. It's a challenging area to be within a business, but I loved it. I think early on, I initially started off actually selling cars after university.
Did you? Was
Yeah,
that
not
your
many people
first
know
job?
that. Yeah. Not cheesy tie in the forecourt, but wholesale to sort of garages and stuff. But that was a challenging role. Then I went into construction, into sort of the estimating side.
Oh yeah.
And again, kind of earned my stripes there, because it's very cutthroat.
Can imagine, yeah.
Very cutthroat. And then sort of moved into more of a corporate role, into sort of the point of sale area, which is where I really kicked off my career. And then the thing was, from estimating to purchasing, is that it kind of goes hand in hand. So
Okay.
I was quoting a lot of these, the quotes, but then I had a really keen interest, because I was already looking at where I was trying to get the products from, and so I kind of evolved into the purchasing side, took over the sales director at the time, and then just went from there. The biggest thing for me, it was like a bit of a drug. So I would get something that we buy from the UK for a couple of quid, and then I would get a spec, and then literally go to China and get it for a fraction of the cost.
Okay.
So it was always, even though numbers wasn't my thing, I just kind of naturally stepped into it. And
I'm presuming you enjoy it, because you've been doing it for a long time
I'm
now.
hugely passionate about it, and if you get it right within a business, it makes significant difference. You can sway margins 5-10%, and it's equal to any department within a business, to be fair. So yeah, that was kind of my journey, going to China, India, around Europe.
Do you get to travel to all these places as
Yeah,
well?
yeah,
That's
mainly-
pretty cool.
Yeah, mainly China, for a good few years, and I had gone to India, Europe as well, but that was the sort of, although it was fun, it was difficult, because China's massive.
Yeah.
And so I would always have to make sure that the trip was had a return on investment. So it used to be me and my gaffer, and we used to just basically head out there as soon as we land, get on a train, and go up and down China for 2 weeks.
Oh wow, I bet that was hard work.
It was challenging.
Yeah.
It was difficult. Early on, it was okay, because I didn't have kids. But then when I had kids, it became more of a struggle. Well, I say that, it was probably 2 weeks off, to be fair. So I think my wife would probably say otherwise. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. The development side, getting something that you could touch, feel, put a spec together, go over to the other side of the world, find a factory, get it to make it for a fraction of the cost, and get it delivered. It was just phenomenal. And then also being an integral part of what the margins look like in that business. So yeah, it was a journey, and it was a good one.
Yeah.
And then I went into consultancy for a little while. Again, really enjoyed that. Built a little community. But I think the pull of Serconnect, when I first went in, as a consultant, was a ground zero, opportunity. So everything needed to be built. And so, I love the challenge and dive straight in. And then, within 2 years, it's gone from me to a team of 4, looking at 5 now. And thankfully, you guys got my first recruit, which was fantastic, Andy.
We've worked with you quite a bit, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly. And Andy's just been an absolute revelation for me. Within the first few months, he was promoted warehouse manager. He just came in as a stores, role. And then between the two of us, we've built up a really strong foundation. Worked on all the systems. From my perspective, for the fleet and the engineering side, Andy's obviously stepped into that because that's not really I can't even put a curtain rail up, so thankfully he's in the team. And then a couple of months ago, internally, I had a new addition, Gemma, which again, an absolute revelation in terms of the support and the coordination of all the extra orders and the shift with some of the business. And then thankfully, what I was looking for was a junior position. And truth be told, I think the old school mentality and work ethic kind of clashes a little bit with the younger generation, shall we say?
Yeah, we've just been talking about this, haven't we?
Yeah,
it's difficult.
Very difficult. And, I did struggle because, we needed to fill that role. But thankfully, you guys jumped in.
Yeah.
Within a couple of weeks, we got Brandon, who's, hit the ground running. Again, every now and then needs a little bit of steering. But
it's the attitude, isn't it? That's what you're looking for, isn't it? Like
it is.
The right work ethic, the right attitude to work.
To have someone as young as he is to sit there, keep asking, what do you want me to do, is just fantastic. And as rare as rocking or dropping, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. It takes a lot, doesn't it? You think when it's a junior role, it'd be so much easier to fill. You're like, well, there'll be loads of people who can do this job. But in reality, you have to sift through a lot of people to find those little hidden gems.
It's the initiative part that I think is missing. It's we don't. At Serconnect, it's brilliant. It's such a great environment. Basically, whatever I need, the director's support. In terms of a company, they do, everything is invested back into the company and the people. So I'm very lucky in those terms. And so, it's we've got the foundation now to kick on because, it is batshit crazy at Serconnect. The growth is phenomenal. I think 26 people when I went on as a consultant. I think we're way over 70 odd now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
so that's that's tripled.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Quite often I'll go in on a Monday morning and I'll be looking at people going, not sure who you are.
I've not seen you before.
How you doing? And, not to try and make you feel welcome, but it's a great environment, and I'm fortunate to sort of get in at ground zero with it.
Yeah, fab. So as you've probably guessed, we're going to be talking about building strong, trusted relationships within your team, clients and suppliers, which obviously you do all of them things. Yeah. So we're going to start with, you kind of touched on this before, but you obviously started out in estimating before moving into procurement. But what was it about that transition that really hooked you?
I think I'm always big on following the breadcrumbs. It's always quite a big saying of mine. And it was it's following the journey. So where do these products come from? What factory does it come from? How many agents are involved trying to get that that extra piece within the costing? I love product development and how something is put together, and then almost reverse engineering it. To see how I can affect every piece of that production, that manufacturer, to see if we can make a difference. Again, I'm strong on understanding what good looks like. So you can buy whatever products you've got, but do you fully understand where does it come from? Is that the best price, or is it gone through several different distributors? And why can't you go to the direct to factory? Early on in my career, I used to maybe rule with the iron fist, probably think that, I was as big as Tesco's and, beating up suppliers and things like that. But it was, but that's not the way of the world these days. And from my perspective, I've gone through the economy crash in 2008, Brexit, COVID.
I didn't even think about how all them would affect.
Horrific. It's an instant impact. And I'll never forget a conversation with my parents when the whole Brexit thing was stirring. And obviously, the older generation had their own ideas of why they wanted to come out of Brexit, and I'm not going to get political with that.
Oh gosh, no, we're not going down that route.
But I did say to my parents, "You will make my life hell tomorrow. If you carry on with the way that you're going to go, and we end up leaving Europe, I'm going to be in trouble tomorrow. You're going to make my life hell." And they did. Because, we came out of Europe, it was an absolute car crash, prices, everything, the uncertainty, and we're still sort of picking up the pieces now with imports and everything else. Nothing is simple. And so it was how do I fix it? And for me, in procurement, we are all about solutions. How do we fix it? How do we make it better? How do we build that profit margin? And having such a significant impact on a business as well is really rewarding.
Yeah.
It goes very much under the radar.
Are you just in the background? And you're not always...
you do find it. Yeah, when I was in the when I was doing my consultancy, we designed a training package, but going into businesses to try and not convince them, but try and make them aware that we can make a big impact straight away was difficult, because everything is orientated around sales. I get it, I understand it, but we're kind of a little mini hub. I always, for me, procurement is the hub of any business, and I will argue that till the cows come home on that. But operationally, everything comes via us. At the minute with Serconnect, we've got a huge side of the business which is growing, rapidly, which is the civil side, which in essence is heavy plant machinery.
Yeah.
Digging huge holes, laying cables, and that in itself takes a lot of management. And we used to go through a third party. But you're paying, anything up to 20-30% on top of just to use someone that would run that side. So when Gemma came in, I'll never forget the first conversation where it was, I am part-time. I like sitting where I sit. I've not got great ambitions in those terms. And I said, and it was like yesterday, and I just literally said, "We'll see." I said, "You will get stuck into this, and you'll enjoy it, and you'll just, you're going to build something special." And she has.
Oh,
and she
that's
is
nice.
The foundation, and I would be absolutely lost without her, because we now run all that side. We don't use any third parties, to the point where we've just significantly invested in our own 8-wheeled grab wagon. So
I mean, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's huge, but there's a massive infrastructure behind that.
Yeah,
it doesn't just turn up and then we send it out on jobs. We've got to schedule it.
You're making sure that everything
absolutely
runs. You're like the unsung heroes of the business, aren't you?
Yeah, I do. You do feel like that sometimes. You really do. You really do. And and again, one of the major things is building systems. So the inventory control is huge. We need to know our stock levels in terms of all the... I'll be honest, the industry is so technical, I still don't know. I'm an absolute rookie with it. It's so technical.
Yeah.
And everything is so expensive. And you look
well,
at
I can imagine that these days.
You just look at it and you think that's just a piece of metal, but the engineers would kill me for saying that. But it is. It's very complex, very... you can't just walk into this industry. So, again, so systems, where do we get it from? Healthy supply chain, which is one of the first things that I did. Reorder levels, all that type of good stuff, just to make it easy for anybody to just jump on and find out where these things come from. So it's really important, and especially the technical aspects. So it's all about creating a database with spec sheets and everything, because I'm never going to know what that is. And neither will probably most of the business, but you still need to just jump on and be able to find it and order it. Yeah. So that was key again.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it sounds like to me like you're just talking to everyone, aren't you? You're like this centre bit of the business that has to communicate with everybody. And at Fresh, we believe that like communication and transparency are the key to long-term relationships. That's what we pride ourselves on. It's like communication is the biggest thing. So I'm presuming, would you say it's similar in procurement?
100%. I've got a really great relationship with accounts, which again for me, kind of the unsung heroes, because they've got to piece together what everybody does. And if the information isn't right, then their information isn't right. And it's not easy for them to find that information because they don't do the job. They don't go out and buy things. So, the relationships are very important for me with the staff as well. The every day, I know there's a big hybrid working, sort of situation that was built from COVID. And I understand that. And there is a need for that. The world has changed, but for me, I'm in the office as much as I can be. I like to be right in the thick of it.
I think that's the right thing to do, though. Like, not that I don't agree with the whole working from home thing, but like when it's you at home more than you're in the office, I'm like, how can you build those relationships? And I talked to Andy. He sits next to me now because we've moved office as well, so I've got my little hub together. So me and Andy communicate more than we ever have, really, apart from the odd phone call and stuff. To be fair, Gemma is hybrid, but there isn't a day gone by that we don't talk or we're on Teams. Again, we live in a different world now, but we are right in the thick of it. We're right in the heart of it, and if anyone is in an isolated role, working away from people, I don't know. I know that I would struggle anyway. I would really struggle. Like
that interaction is key for me.
Yeah, because I know, like, if I was at home, I'd be speaking to clients or speaking to people. But I think you just need that with your team in order to get the best out of them as well.
They do, and for me, the supplier side of things is key. That if things are going to go wrong, as they do, I'm not a 26-year-old little, Jack Russell that just thinks if I scream at them, then that's going to work. It isn't. These things can go wrong, but as long as we've got that relationship and that, like yourselves, all through the process, the systems that you guys have got are incredible. Right from day one, it was, this is what we're doing, this is what we need from you. And, this is the type of candidate that we're going to look for. And then, any tweaks along the way, there was constant communication, even to the point of, previously when I've used recruitment consultancy, I mean, I don't know if you should say this, but it's almost like a little bit like slavery to a certain degree. The guys are chucked in, they're left to their own devices, there's no communications, and then the recruitment companies at the end have picked up their fee. And when it's gone wrong, I've had this in the past, it's like, well, it's past the 6 months, sorry, you're done
and
for.
they just leave you. Yeah.
And even to the point where I had one where we had a load of recruitment in a former role, and I was torn between two people. Unfortunately, I took the wrong person.
Oh, no.
And they had to get moved on, and we lost loads of money from that because it went past the 6 month threshold. But the guy that we did take on actually wrote a handwritten letter to me within a few days. So I kept that letter. And then a year afterwards, I wrote back to him and we took him on, and he was absolutely incredible. The recruitment agency came after us legally.
No way.
Yeah, legally. And it was absolutely horrific because they initially did that intro.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we won that battle, obviously.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah, but like I said, you constantly dropping in with Andy. That's been a good few years.
Yeah.
And then Brandon again. I think we all want to feel wanted, and if he's got that, he's got the support from us, and likewise the support from you, then it's only gonna be a positive thing anyway.
Yeah,
so.
And I think it's really easy to communicate when things are going right, isn't it? And everything's like sunshine and roses. But it's when you're communicating when things aren't going as well. But if you've built up them solid foundations and then relationships, then you can kind of get through the situation. Because with recruitment, unfortunately, things do go wrong sometimes because we're dealing with people and doesn't always go to plan. But if you've built up that relationship, you can talk it through with the client and you can get solve the problem. So I feel like that's probably the same.
Well, I think
with you.
With the process with you guys was I could literally tell you what I was looking for, which it's again, that's down to relationships because I can have a frank and honest conversation of what I was trying to build.
Yeah.
So yeah, and again, that goes through all the supply chains that I have, and yeah, again with the staff. I'll walk over hot coals for them. I really will. I will, and mistakes can be made. It's all part of growing. It's all part of learning.
Yeah.
I've come from toxic kind of environments where you're only as good as your last mistake. And that's always stuck with me. And it was a former colleague who worked for me, and we were going through a tough time. It was many years ago, and that phrase that he said to me has always stuck. And it was kind of like a bit of a turning point for me to put my sort of shield on. That's where I sit in the company, you see. I'm not in charge because I don't like to sort of be that type of sort of manager, but I oversee, shall we say, and help support the team. So yeah, we've got to own it and move on. That's it. And we're all human, and we don't do it on purpose.
No, well I'd like to think most people don't do it on purpose. There might be some people, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I know you touched on like the recruiter story that you had, but have you ever seen poor relationship management cause any serious problems in your business, like maybe with suppliers or?
Yeah, I'd say, sometimes when you've got a main supplier, and I found this a little bit in this industry, that you're quite limited to where you can go to buy some of the products and to buy some of the stuff that we bring in, and they almost have this sort of monopoly type attitude, and probably in the beginning I sort of disrupted that a little bit because I was placing orders with other suppliers that I'd brought in, and it's kind of like, well, the perception was I would have a certain supplier anyway would say, I'll give you that quote, I've not had the PO yet.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, well, yeah, because you've not won the job.
Yeah.
It's gone somewhere else. And it's like, oh, right, well, we always used to get the orders. And I'm like, well, yeah, I appreciate that, but we've managed to find a couple more suppliers. But and from my perspective, it's obviously doing it ethically. So I don't do Dutch auctions. I don't go to like 3 or 4 suppliers and turn around and say, so-and-so's doing it at this price, what can you do?
Yeah, like, what's the word? Like, thinking them off against...
play
them off against each other, yeah.
And you lose credibility so much with that. So for me, it's kind of, give me your best price, and then, we place it accordingly. But I do make sure that I maintain good relationships with everybody.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's key because you're only as good as your supply chain.
Yeah, but it's not always about price, though, is it? I know. That's probably wrong for me to say that to you because you work in recruitment, right. But it's not always about price. It's about the value of what you're getting as well. Yeah, because you could get something cheap that could be shit.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I'd say, in my experience, it's probably the last thing. Because,
oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And I know price is key, but it's all well and good having a cheap price, but if they don't deliver when they say they're going to deliver, the quality's never there. You lose customers. So, it's that old phrase of, buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah.
It is very relevant. So, from my perspective, it's about treating suppliers like partners to a certain degree, because without them, like I said, you're only as good as the supply chain you've got. So price is something that it's a bit of a taboo in procurement, that you've got to get the cheapest prices all the time. but that isn't what it's about. It's the right, healthy supply chain, and ultimately, keeping the customers coming back. So, I mean, I'm in a different type of sector now where we bring in, we're very much a services type industry, but it's so technical that we can't just buy our stuff from everywhere. I can't go on Temu and then go and buy a load of stuff. Do you know, like a substation from Temu. It's just not going to happen. But the team all get the assignment. It's reliability. We're very reactive. We might get a call in the next 30 seconds to try and get some machinery to site tomorrow. And we've got to have that supply chain in place. Otherwise, the cost of not getting it there. We might have a supplier, we save a couple of quid, but having a load of lads on site with not the right equipment is thousands. So you're absolutely right there.
Yeah, cheaper is not always better.
Absolutely not.
Do you know, it's weird in recruitment because you get recruiters who are like dirt cheap. Like, we'll speak to people and like, we're paying like 10% for these people, and it'll be crap what's coming through to them, or they just won't get any CVs through. Yeah. And then we get people who are like, I'm paying 25% to recruiters. But equally, there will also be crap that's coming through from the recruiters. Right. So it's really weird. So I feel like with recruitment, it's not really about the pricing. It's like it's the value that you get from it.
Yeah, well, the cost to get the wrong person in. I mean, I don't know if this is a fact that I've read and it's true, but it can be upwards of probably 20-30 grand. Because of all the training and time and effort that you've got to put in, the initial investment, and for that to go wrong after a few months, it's catastrophic especially if you're a company that's either, in the infant stage, you're just growing and, cash is key.
Yeah.
And equally in my position where I'm trying to create a department very quickly, but in the right way, it's got to be done right. And to be fair, your model's really good. I love the fact that it disrupts the market, to be fair.
Yeah, so we are time-based, which is not a percentage placement fee, which is normally... we don't say we're cheaper because it doesn't always work out cheaper, but we are cost competitive compared to other recruiters. But for us, it's the value that you get from it. It's not just about firing CVs over to people and just hoping they stick. Like, it's the whole project that you get with it, and the support and the communication and everything like that.
100%.
Yeah. So we did touch on this before, that obviously we've placed some people with you, but when you are hiring, what do you look for beyond skills?
Good question. So I've recruited many people and interviewed probably hundreds over my time, and for me, when you get the CV, that's basically telling me that they've kind of got their skill set, or they've come from that arena to be in the room with you, to have that interview. But the biggest thing for me is the personality, the fit, the work ethic, which isn't branded around as much as it should be, in my opinion.
I think it's one of the most important things, someone's work ethic.
It's huge within my my little family, my little group that I've got at Serconnect, and I early on I followed my gut. I've had experiences where I've done interviews early. When I was probably quite a young manager, and we had a candidate in. This presentation was out of this world. At the time, she was using big words like tenacity and all this, because it was a big word for me at that point.
Yeah.
And I'm writing it down and I'm Googling it. And it was absolutely incredible. And then after the interview, my boss at the time, the owner, said, "Well, what do you think?" And I was like, "Christ, she's better than me." And he said, "Well, don't worry." And it goes back to that Richard Branson saying, hire people that are better than you.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely have managed to do. The guys that work for me at the minute are just incredible. Anyway, it didn't last long whatsoever. She came in and was very poor at the job. Their attitude was terrible. we found out that financially she didn't need to work.
So she wasn't bothered then, was she?
Not really bothered. Wasn't, didn't take it to heart. Wasn't passionate about it. And wasn't really bothered about the team. So yeah, that didn't last long. But at the time, my gut feeling was it wasn't right. So.
Oh really? So you knew that from it,
and you only get that with experience. So now with Brandon, within the first 5 minutes, I already know that Brandon was the one for us.
Oh,
within the first
nice,
5 minutes, the general conversations, what he does in and around, work and personal life and everything else. Albeit I know that we have to be careful in sort of trying to dig for information, but he was quite freely talking about what he does. And my gut was, that's it. This is it. Let's just get him straight in. Let's not mess around.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that my experience is to follow your gut and just make sure that it's the right fit for the team.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, because you can have someone with all the skills and experience that you want, but if they're just not a nice person, the effects that will have on the rest of your team is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whereas you might have someone who's missing a bit of the skills that you're after, but they might be willing to learn, their attitude is right, they're such a team player that it makes up for it, doesn't it?
100%.
Yeah.
And it is important for me that the team that I work in is reliable to everybody.
Oh my God, yeah.
It is. Andy, prime case in point, he's now working up to be transport manager, so he's going to be.
That's really nice.
He's gone through the courses, which thankfully, again, I'm lucky with Serconnect, heavily investing into the people. So it's not a cheap course, but and I'm very lucky that I've got that.
Cool. So your final question is, what advice would you give to leaders or business owners who want to build better relationships, both internally and externally?
Okay, that's a good one. That's a cracker, that. I mean, from my perspective, I always want to, inspect what you expect. You've got to be a role model. I've got to set the tone. If I was rolling in after all my staff, that doesn't really set the right, kind of characteristic of someone that needs to help and support and oversee them. So always follow your gut. You know what's right and wrong. You know if someone is gonna fit into the team or not. For me, again, is always be kind and supportive. I know that's a bit. We live in a world with mental health is sort of branded around quite a lot, and rightly so, because I've been through some tough times myself. And as a man, you don't talk about this type of stuff. But again, when you've got a supportive team, then it takes the weight off, and so you've got to build a team and inspect the type of work that they're doing, and make sure that the communication is there, that if it's right or wrong or what have you, and just be a good role model, just be a good person.
That's like the key, isn't it? Just be a nice, good person.
This is it. Things happen in life now, and in a former role, I struggled going on holiday for a length of time, because I knew when I got back, everything would have gone wrong, and then it was all on me, and I felt guilty with it. But for me now, we do live in a different world, and it's things go wrong in the personal life, then just go get it done. You can't put a price on health, and for me to have that attitude and that ethic within the group, I'm going to get extra from them. So if someone needs to go and a medical emergency, or go on, I mean, even if it's just a pet. Pets are massive these days.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
they're like
huge.
family.
They're probably more important than some humans in some people's lives. But again, these things, they matter to people. And if it matters to them, then it should matter to us. And we should be supportive around that. So absolutely. I know that if I asked my team that we needed to do some extra work on a weekend, then the give and take that we've got, they wouldn't batter an eyelid. They wouldn't be turning around going, well, what do I get for it? Or, that kind of attitude. What's in it for me? No. I mean, we've got a big phrase and a big saying within our group, and it's, we just get shit done.
I like that.
And there's no hierarchy with that at all. We're all, they make me look good.
It's teamwork though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It is. It's teamwork.
Yeah.
And I think what you were mentioning before, I think it's probably quite an old-fashioned way of looking at it, but you were kind of expected to leave your personal life at the door, aren't you? And when you're in work, it's work and that's it. And I think you're right with mental health and things like that. It's not always possible to just leave stuff at the door and just walk through your work door and be like, oh, I'm fine now and everything's okay. I think you need to have that open, honest communication relationship to be able to be like,
100%.
This is okay, and I know you're not going to be at 100% right now, but we're going to do what we can to support you. We're going to do this. We'll let you leave early to go to appointments or whatever that is.
And in fairness, Serconnect as a company, I've got the license to do that because they are strong with it. Again, a quick case in point. Brandon broke down yesterday, rang me up. He's panicking and I'm going to be late and all this kind of stuff. And I went, don't worry about it. It's fine. Just make sure you're safe.
Yeah.
So he was safe. The AA was coming. His dad was going to help. And so within 5-10 minutes, myself and Andy had a ring around with what vans we've got. I rang him back. I went, don't worry about your car. We've got a van, so at least you can get to and fro from work.
Oh.
So again, the pressure on his young shoulders with, he would have been panicking about getting to work, but we solved the problem. So again, it's about that
being there for your people and just investing in them, because it's like you said, you will get more out of them if you 100%. Give them more, and they won't be like, well, what's in it for me?
You want it to work for you.
Yeah, because they appreciate what they have and what they get from you. So
absolutely.
I think it's very important to kind of invest in your people to get the most out of them.
Yeah.
So that's it for the interview questions, Dave.
That went quick.
Do you feel like it's gone really quick?
I do, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
good.
I could talk about this type of stuff all day, to be honest with you. One of my life missions is to get procurement out there and get a full understanding of how much it can do for a company.
Yeah, because I feel like I only know about it at a surface level. Yeah. I was looking at this schedule. I'm like, I need to look into procurement more because it's just something that you hear about and you know it's just like buying stuff in. And I'm like, I don't really know much about it.
Well, the thing is as well, it's not, I've had instances where people try and make procurement, and I hate the word procurement. They should have just purchasing buying. They should have just kept it at that.
Yeah.
But it isn't complicated at all. And again, one of my foundations is keep it simple.
Yeah.
Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. We don't need lots of pie charts and graphs and everything to understand how and where and why we buy stuff. It's just keep it simple.
Cool, I like that. We have got a little game before
Let's go.
You go. So it's called Fresh or Stale.
Okay.
So basically, I've got 5 phrases or words for you. You have to tell me if they're fresh, so we like them, or they are stale.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got Dragon's Den.
Okay.
Are you a fan?
I am a fan, but I would say it's a little bit stale for me.
Oh, why?
For me, again, I'm all about the granular detail, and so you only tend to find information on the stuff that was on the businesses that were successful.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And it's all driven by the media, and again, we live in a social media world, so you see all the good stuff, but I'd like to know the tough times behind all that. It's all well and good having a dragon on board, but is that the reality?
Throwing the money around.
Yeah, and again, I've had my own business, and it's really hard. I'd want an episode on that.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean, the real life stuff, because I think they've made it a tiny bit gimmicky now. Do you know, with like Stephen Bartlett and Joe Wicks, and I'm like, I understand that they have their own businesses, but the rest of them are like they're proper like entrepreneurs, like business people. And then I know Stephen Bartlett and Joe Wicks are, but Just be like, you're just getting some famous faces on there.
That's it. And for me, like I said, I've watched it. I'll be honest, I wanted to go on it to try and sell procurement because I'm sat there.
Do it.
I know, because I'm sat there going, I wonder where you buy that from. And, that's how it whirls in my head. But yeah, a little bit stale for me, that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, Blackpool Illuminations.
Not a fan.
Are you not?
No.
Don't like it?
I'm not a fan.
Bit tacky.
Yeah, do you know what? I don't mind that. It's the money making side of it. Back in the day, I used to go with my mum and dad.
Yeah.
And then eventually we could afford a car with a sunroof, and I'd stick my head out, and then we'd go down, and then you'd see it from a different world. And it was magical at that point. I've done it with my kids, and I'm probably sounding really old now, but it's really expensive. You can't stick your head out the sunroof because you've got to be belted in.
Yeah.
And, you can't see it from a different perspective. So, and the kids, when they go, it's always really busy, and, we have to spend probably 35 quid on some flashy electrical thing that breaks by the time it gets to the car.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm sounding really old, but...
But do you not feel like they're the same ones that we saw when we went as, like, kids? I look at them now when I've ever been, and I'm like, I'm sure they're just the same lights that were there, like 20 years ago.
Yeah, technology now. You want drones going up.
I want, things flying in the air
massive,
and everything.
Like, you get 3D fans and all this kind of stuff, which I've actually got them from China before. They're not that expensive, but... You know what I mean? 3D. Oh, there's so much more they could do. But it needs
like a revamp. Yeah,
massively.
I agree. What about blue cheese?
I suppose this one's going to be a controversial one. I'm not a big cheese guy, if I'm honest.
Oh no, you're not. I love cheese.
Is that? I don't mind a mature cheddar. Again, going old school, but that seems a bit fancy dancy to me. Blue cheese, I'd imagine, like going back to the old Gary Neville of some oil with bread and all that.
Is that
kind
not
of
for
stuff.
you?
No, I don't mind it, but yeah, I'm kind of old school. Just cheese.
Just a bit of cheddar, and you're all right.
Yeah.
Okay. What about business networking events?
Oh, again, this is a controversial one. So, again, in a former life, I created a community which was for procurement people.
Oh, okay.
Because, again, in my perspective, they're kind of put in a box. Procurement people, they're left in a box. They don't get out. They don't go and see suppliers. They don't,
Yeah, you don't see them at networking events, do you?
Oh, yeah, I'm the buyer for,
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Just imagine the different types of conversations you'd have there.
Yeah.
And for me, networking and procurement, it's a different type of person because, a lot of the time, from my perspective, I hated networking when I was, doing an awful lot of that. So what I did is I went straight into it and I created something called the Director Social, which was straight in recruiting Manchester, really nice restaurants, really nice venues, all that type of stuff, getting on stage and coming out of my comfort zone. And it kind of did work. But I think you've got to switch the networking up, and you can't keep going to the same one because you're just talking to the same types of people.
Yeah, I
agree. For me, do something different. I think you guys do a walk.
We do a networking walk and we do a networking quiz as well.
I mean, what more?
But how easy is it to talk to people when you're doing something
no
like
barriers.
that? Yeah.
You've got no barriers. You're having a laugh. You're getting to know people. You do get a lot of the sort of the real honed in salespeople that are shoving business cards down your throat, which
I know.
That type of stuff doesn't work. It doesn't work with me. It's all about relationships. But
yeah, agreed.
There's a huge necessity for it. I would love for procurement people to get involved, for companies to realise and understand that it would be a benefit for them as well. And again, just switch it up, like you say. Go for a quiz. Go for a walk that you guys do. I did that once, and it was brilliant.
It's good fun, isn't it?
I met a chap that I would never normally meet. That was, he built things for camper vans and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
His journey was incredible as well, and it's you gravitate to people like that. So I think it's a necessity, but you know, if it's not working after a few weeks, then I wouldn't waste your money. Really,
not keep going to the same ones with the same people there. And I just don't like, do you know, like the stuffy ones where it's a bit like really formal and it follows like some schedule. For me. Yeah, it's not for me. I want something a bit more chilled.
This is it.
Yeah, and then the final one is city breaks.
Okay. So city breaks. Fantastic pre-kids, not so great with kids.
Yes, I can imagine that.
Yeah, no, more so now. I think we're going to be my son and my daughter, 10 or 11. So they like my son wants to go to Rome. They're they've got that interest, if you know what I mean. In a couple of weeks' time, we're going San Sebastian.
Where's that?
It's Spain somewhere.
Nice.
Don't know where. Spain. San Sebastian. Yeah, not sure. I just get on the plane and go.
You just get told where you're going. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, I think it certainly widens the horizons for my kids. I want to try and get them to see as much of the world as possible. I mean, not sure about yourself, but for me, I grew up in Anglesey, so we were either Rill or maybe Blackpool at a push.
That's what I was like in my younger days. I think I only went on a plane when I was about 12 or 13.
I did, and that was to Germany to see my auntie. And I thought that was a holiday, but you know what I mean? It wasn't. But, we live in a different world again where it's a lot cheaper and easier to do. So, yeah, I'm for it. I am for it.
Yeah, I love a city break, but they're so tiring, aren't they? I'm like, you need a holiday after you've been on a city break. 100%. I see loads of people who are like, you can do this with your 9 to 5. You can go on like Friday night and come back Sunday night. I'm like, I need a break.
On Monday.
What am I doing on Monday? Because I'm not going back into work on Monday.
And let's be honest, when you go all in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your food, drink, everything. So, yeah.
But you spend a fortune, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
But it's good fun. Okay, fab. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Dave. It's been lovely. So go and check Dave out. Where can they find you? You're on LinkedIn, aren't you?
I'm on LinkedIn, yeah.
Dave Liggins on LinkedIn.
Yep.
And they can go and check out what Serconnect do as well, can't they? Yeah, website and everything like that. Check out Fresh Perspective. Our website is fp-resourcing.co.uk. We're also on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and we're all over LinkedIn. You can check out mine at Vicky Taylor on LinkedIn. If you've enjoyed this episode, then please like and subscribe, and please leave us a review. We would be really grateful. We'll be back again in 2 weeks with another fantastic guest. Thank you again, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you all again soon.
Yes.
Bye.
Goodbye.